Welcome back again to the Teachings of Jesus series that we're going through this summer. And yes, looky here, little Willa the mascot is here. And are you ready for this? Someone else is here too. I guess this will be our other mascot. This is Romeo. He's my dachshund. He's a dachshund terrier mix. He'll just stay back there, buried behind the pillow. My dogs, they act like cats. They bury down in the pillows. Anyway, back today, we're going to continue where the last video left off. In fact, it's immediately after Jesus. Let's go back and remember what was happening in our last teaching. The people had come and were criticizing Jesus because he and his disciples were not fasting. They were not maintaining this tradition that the Pharisees were maintaining and that John's disciples were maintaining. And they were like, why aren't you fasting? But it was in a critical way. And immediately after Jesus responded with the wedding metaphor, the wedding analogy, he continued. And this is what he continued to say. I am in Mark 21 in the book. We just moved right ahead to day 9 in the ebook and page 62 in the paperback. Here's what he said. He continued to say, no one sews a piece of unshrunk cloth on an old garment. If he does, the patch tears away from it, the new from the old. And a worse tear is made. And no one puts new wine into old wineskins. If he does, the wine will burst the skins, and the wine is destroyed, and so are the skins. But new wine is for fresh wineskins. The issue with traditions is we rely on those to replace our closeness with God. From the very first video, and if you haven't watched it, go back and watch that one or read the transcript. After studying the teachings of Jesus and studying them for 2 years and deeply and researching them, we go back to the first thing that Jesus taught, that God is near, his kingdom is near. And we remember the last thing that Jesus taught. He said, I will be near always to the end of the age. And then we see all these examples where he told the Pharisees in our last lesson that it's important that we enjoy our nearness together, me and my disciples with each other. We know the story of Mary and Martha. He teaches the same thing again. God is near, and he wants us to keep that awareness. And in our busy lives, I call them micro distractions. Our texts are chirping and our TVs are running in the background, or whatever, your live streams, because it's not even really TV anymore, is our live streams are running in the background, and we've got this on our schedule and that on our schedule, and we just let the busyness, and so it's easy then to just fit in a little tradition, to fit in a routine, and say, and check it off the list and say, okay, we've done our time with God. But Jesus said, no, what I am teaching, he's still talking about what I am teaching, you can't just take what I'm teaching you and stick it into your old ways of thinking. It will burst. And you won't, if you try to do that, if you try to take what I'm teaching you, stick it into your old ways of being, it's going to ruin your old ways, and it's going to ruin the new teachings. It doesn't work. And the same thing with the cloth. He says, if what I'm teaching you, if you just take it and try to stick it on, no, it won't attach. Ask yourself, what are some traditions that you're holding on to? Traditions or routines or activities that you're holding on to, but you're actually letting those traditions take more precedence in your life than your actual relationship with God. actual relationship through Christ. If you are a churchgoer, how many hours do you spend at church? And how many hours do you actually spend one-on-one with God? Or just being aware that He's near? Now, this is one for me. I spend a whole lot of time reading other Christian writers' books and reading commentaries, and that's good. But I have found that reading Christian genre books, whether it's Christian fiction or nonfiction, even that does not replace time in the Word. There's just something about reading the Word, the raw Word, that inspires and instructs and reveals more to me than even reading a great theologian, their take on it, on a passage. So I say that to you. If you're watching these videos 20 minutes a week, I hope you're spending at least 40 minutes a week, at least twice as much time directly with God on your own. And in this new wineskin, in this new container, let's fill that up with relationship building with God, with Jesus. Ask yourself, is my relationship with God through Christ, is it really the number one focus in my life? And then ask yourself, what would my daily routines look like if the relationship really was number one? And so think about that. How would my day look? What would I need to do to make the relationship truly first? Not too long ago, I was reading some things from Billy Graham, some of his life reflections. He was asked by the interviewer, do you have any regrets? Is there anything you would change about your life? And you know what he said? He said that if he could go back and change things or do things over, that he wishes he had actually spent more one-on-one time with the Lord. I hear a lot of people that are trying to grow spiritually with Christ, and they're like, I just wish I knew what the will of God was. I just wish I knew what the will of God was. I just wish He would reveal it to me. What does He want me to do? What doors is He going to open and close? Should I go this direction? Should I go that direction? What is the will? The will of God is that you be in relationship with Him. Everything starts there. That you remember that He's near. That is His will. And why in our world is that so hard to do? Again, go back and watch that first video and get some practical ideas to keep Him at the forefront of your mind, not just in the morning or in the night or during your quiet time, but all throughout the day. Because if you can keep Him there at the forefront of your mind throughout the day, if you're able to multitask and kind of learn to keep Him there, keep the knowledge of Him there while you're going about and doing other things, you will be in His will. That's when the promise from Psalms, I believe, He says, I will guide you. I will show you the way to go. That is His will. Okay, and that, my friend, that is the new wineskin. That is the new cloth. Traditions, you can't do anything to be in His will outside of remembering He's there, seeking what He wants, going with Him. And so one more time, if you're not someone that keeps God in mind all day long, like I was not. That first video has some practical strategies, or if you've got some others, please share them. If you've got some other practical strategies to help us fight the enemy of distractions and micro distractions, I'd love to hear them. Okay, until next week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye. Say bye. They're actually being very good. Bye for now.